Welcome, everybody. This is the Board of Selectmen meeting. We are having our meeting at 6:45 today because we had a meeting with CMRPC earlier at 6 o'clock, and this is a continuation of our Board of Selectmen meeting. Today is February 16th, 2023 at 6:45 p.m. Can I please have everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. So everybody knows we're recording via WCAT 12, live streaming via Facebook, and also recording and giving people opportunity via Zoom. Just so everybody's aware, there are some changes to WCAT 12 and their platform that they're doing now. So you'll see some minor changes to that. It's going to be much clearer. Hopefully people can hear us a little better. And you'll also see names in the meeting and everything pop up by us. So you're probably seeing Board of Selectmen and my name right now, and then Rich and Derek and everybody else that speaks, which is great job by Travis and Lisa. Good job up there. They've been here all day making sure that's been upgraded. So first thing we have on the agenda is a discussion and possible vote on a common particular license for George's Pizza at 991 Main Street in Warren. The representative's not here right now. Yes,
I
sir.
was there actually this afternoon. He thinks it's at 7.
Okay, so we can move on to this other stuff. We'll table this one because I know there was some discussion whether it was gonna be at 7 or not, but the meeting was posted for 6:45. So we'll table that one. And on number 2, a discussion and review on universal employee evaluation form and possible vote to adopt. We're also gonna table that one because of some issues that Mr. Ferrara is gonna be working on.
Yeah, I just wanted another week or so to just really work out the kinks of the evaluation and the scaling component of it.
Okay.
We're almost there. I think another week would be prudent.
Very good. All right. So we'll table that one also. The next thing we have on the agenda is discussion and possible vote to participate in a 5 new proposed national opioid settlement offers and authorize the town administrator to sign on behalf of the town. Mr. Farrar, can you give us background on this?
Yep, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So in your packets tonight, members of the board, there's a new participation agreement for the town of Warren to participate in for settlements for the national opiate action settlement opportunities that are out there. So political subdivisions such as cities and towns across the Commonwealth can participate in it. And these are 5 separate settlements agreements. One is with Teva, Allen Grand, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart. And they would all be signed separately, similar to the agreement that was before the board almost last year around this time for J&J. They were the manufacturers of the opiates, and our Attorney General allowed and fought for us to get cities and towns across the Commonwealth settlement agreements that they could participate in, and you would need to sign in to this agreement prior to April 18th of this year to be eligible to receive funds from the agreement. It's pretty standard. And these funds would be then deposited, and we would get the funds through the treasurer's office, which she would be tracking them. And the funds can be used for, entities that would support, opiate awareness and in trying to combat the opiate addiction problem that's been plaguing not only the country, but smaller communities.
So these funds could be utilized in programs, maybe like police department, like awareness or something, or fire department for take back program or something like
Sure.
that?
Sure.
Okay.
So are we getting money, or does the state get money?
Well, actually, it goes to a law firm that is handling the settlements, and then it gets channeled to the communities, individual communities. So we actually receive it on a schedule. If we participate in it. I can speak on the last agreement with J&J. We had once we opted in to getting these, we had a schedule then of all the payments that the town will receive throughout the next 10 or 15 years. And, on that schedule, the treasurer will see the deposits come in, and they'll be put into an account, and at some point, the settlements are small, and they add up. The town can decide to do a program or initiative to spend the money.
Okay.
And I think one of the things with last year, we discussed about hiring like kind of like an advocate. And the advocate would go into some of these areas where, like give seminars and stuff like that. Somebody to bring more awareness to it and programs and stuff. I think that definitely needs to be revisited too, see what we can do with that and how we can spend those monies for that.
I think we just got one of our first rounds, and I want to say it was maybe like somewhere right around a little less than $2,000. So, it probably would be, advantageous to let it build up and then
Yeah.
try to roll out a program.
Okay. Now, could this be like something to fund, like help with like Narcan or something like that?
Yeah, sure.
Well,
Is
this
that
one
something you
company
guys
has to
have
provide.
available to you right now?
Narcan?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
right.
but we have to pay for it.
Well, this is something that maybe if, we
Yeah,
can
sure.
get this to pay for the Narcan, roll out programs to educate our residents on opioids and issues with them. A little bit of outreach and possibly fund some, purchases of Narcan for you guys to use. Because I know it can be very costly at times. And I don't think it's going down in price in any bit. It's probably going up. How much does it cost for one Narcan dose now?
What comes with
It's
tubes?
it's roughly $65, I believe, right around.
For one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
And
one.
it could take
With
two.
multiple shots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually.
Well,
Yeah,
one of
that's-
these settlements actually provides Narcan over 10 years.
Okay. Now, that would be great. It depends on how much too. We go through a lot of Narcan in our community.
That varies. Sometimes we'll have weeks where we use a lot of it, and
Yeah.
Usually goes in cycles.
Yeah.
Usually you can see you can kind of tell that some form has trickled in from another area and it's hit the community because we'll have a whole,
Span
a few
where,
of
yeah.
them that'll happen within a week or two time, and then it'll slow down again. So usually it has to do with a very toxic batch that comes in, and that's when we end up with the calls, unfortunately.
All right. Yeah, if we could definitely help out with that in any way. All right, very good. Do you have anything else?
So, I mean, if the sub-board wants to sign into these settlements, then you're basically just releasing all the liability from the companies and going with the settlement, which I would advise is probably the most prudent thing to do.
If we didn't do that, we'd have to sue them
Then you'd have to
ourselves,
take your own lawyer.
and then that's probably not gonna happen, you know? All the work, hard work has been done for us already, as far as this, so. All right, do you have anything else?
No, sir.
Do you have any questions, sir?
I don't.
No? Do you have any questions?
Neither do I.
No? Anybody have anything, comments from the public? No? Chiefs, do you have any comments on this?
I think it's a good thing. I mean, any little bit of money that can trickle in to maybe put towards the problem, I think that's a good
Is
thing.
this something we go yearly for? Is that?
No, once we sign into it, we're good for 10 years, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, it depends, there's,
Yeah.
some are 15, some are 10, there's one 7, so they
Yeah.
just pay out over various periods.
We'll get a schedule, once we sign, if the town signs the agreements.
Yeah. And if we can get into a program where Narcan's being provided free of cost to us, that's a big help right there, because it's not something we're budgeting for. Narcan's perishable too, so it's not like you can stockpile it and there you go.
We've never had come across that problem though.
Yeah.
We've never had it that long.
Unfortunately. You know, hopefully someday we never have to use it again. You know, pray for that day, but it's a bigger problem than just Warren. All right, you guys ready?
Mhm.
Let's do a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion to participate in the 5 proposed national opioid settlement offers as we discussed, and authorize the town administrator to sign on behalf of the town.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. It is approved, sir.
Thank you.
All right, next thing, item 4, review and accept the monthly fire department report for the month of January 2023. Chief?
Good evening, everyone. Adam LaVoy, Fire Chief. Thank you for having me tonight. Let's just run down quick numbers of our basic monthly report. I responded to a total of 33 fire calls during January, a little bit of a slower month, which was not a bad thing. They range from activated alarms, motor vehicle accidents, we had quite a few of. Medical assist, oil burner issues, carbon monoxide, investigations. Carbon monoxide is something we see a lot this time of year during the colder months. Those are always an uptick in that. A couple investigations, we did have a structure fire, service calls, vehicle fires, we had one of those power line incidents, and hazmat calls. We did 59 ambulance calls in the month of January. It was actually a little bit down on that one too, which is a trend that doesn't happen very often. I had 7 ALS intercepts that were required. We did 3 smoke and CO inspections, 3 propane tank inspections, and 2 oil burner tank inspections. We did a couple of trainings in January. The firefighters trained on what we call Save Yourself, or
Delivery?
hey, how are you, George? Saving yourself drills.
Hey, come on in.
Leave it to the dinner, guys. It's okay?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, sir.
These couple of drills were specifically aimed at what we call firefighters saving themselves when they're put in, God forbid, they're put into a situation where something bad goes on in the building. You know, a stairwell collapses, they get disoriented, they have a medical emergency. We go over procedures on how to call proper mayday so that the incident commander knows something's going on, that a firefighter's having an issue for whatever reason. So we also have drills that we call things like, we call a long lug out, where they know which way to follow a hose when they can't see anything, so they'll find the hose. They know there's a long, what's called a lug on the couplings of the hose where they attach together. They're able to determine, even if they can't see, if as long as they can just feel that, they're able to figure out which way leads back to the truck, which gets them out of that situation. So these are all things, you know, they all carry personal safety rope. If they had to bail out of a window or something like that, they could attach to something solid and be able to rappel down the side of a building if they had to, or bail out head first out of a window and go down a ladder. So these are just good skills to have, just God forbid that, you know, an environment changed drastically inside of the building, which does happen. So In terms of our EMS training, we trained on some different truck equipment locations and stuff like that. We've had quite a bit of EMS training. Next month, we have our protocol update, so we'll be doing that. In terms of the budget, I'm still monitoring things very closely, making sure that, looking at the utility bills, the fuel bills, and we're okay right now. We're still watching those very closely as they continue to fluctuate, but, this has definitely been the highest amount of utility bills that I've ever seen, and, this is, in the 11 years I've been chief here, or the 11 fiscal years I've been doing this, this is definitely a huge increase in some of those bills. So, the heating bills, the gas bills, fuel bills, they're all going up. So we're watching them closely, no major red flags of any kind at this point, but as we move closer towards May and when we do line item transfers and stuff, I'll make sure that, Jim and the board is aware if we need anything or something needs to take place. But we're looking okay right now.
And your fuel bills, they okay right now?
Yeah,
They're
it's
up
just,
there?
we're, like I said, we're going through a lot. We're doing a ton of ambulance calls, especially. The truck is rolling all the time, so we're going through a lot of fuel on that. And again, with the prices the way it is with diesel, it's just, it's a whole new ballgame where it was, every single month, it's $400 or $500 higher than it's ever been. It's just the way it's gonna be until those fuel prices start to go down. And then obviously in the winter time, we see them go up anyways, because if we do have an incident, we have to keep that truck running and pumping and everything to keep it from freezing up. So, they're just constantly running all the time. So.
We're gonna keep you guys running, again. You guys gotta do your job, we can't ground you.
Fortunately, we got very lucky during that really bad cold snap there. We had a chimney fire during that, and it's not pleasant dealing with those at 5 degrees, and wind. But, compared to some of the other towns, we only had a few calls, for during that 24 hours where we had those frigid temperatures. So thank goodness, because those can be very dangerous and very damaging to trucks and stuff, especially when all the little valves freeze up and everything, and they tend to break, or they can, have, the metal piping and stuff like that can shatter, so we got fortunate. I was very worried about that little cold snap, because that was just so cold, that I thought we were gonna run into some problems, but thank goodness we weren't out a tremendous amount, and we didn't have, a ton of trees and everything else down, compared to some other communities that didn't quite fare as well as I did, so we were kinda lucky on that one.
Okay. One call on here stands out to me right away, the hazmat call. What was that?
I'm trying to think of what that particular one was. I believe it was a fuel leak. So it's classified. When we do ours, it's when we enter our reports to the state and the federal government, they all fall under a certain category depending on how they're coded. So when it's a hazmat call, it doesn't necessarily mean that it was an ethanol tanker that,
No.
it could be something as simple as a reportable fuel leak that's over 5 gallons or something like that. So they don't happen very often, thank goodness. I mean, we've all seen the incident that happened with the train derailment and everything, and, those are serious calls, and hopefully we're never in that position. But every once in a while, we'll have a person drop something off or report something that they have a bottle of something or a container of something, they don't know what it is, it has an odor to it, so all those may be classified under that. But this one here, I believe it was a fuel spill, it wasn't anything.
Okay, it didn't meet the threshold
No,
for
it wasn't
reporting?
anything that was required a hazmat response from the state or anything like that. If it's a, we will call a lot of times car accident stuff, especially in the Mass Pike, if the tractor trailer's involved or something and they lose one of the saddle tanks and it's damaged, and over a reported quantity, we'll call DEP and do what we ever have to do for, for state requirements and stuff like that. But very few and far between do we have to actually call state hazmat teams out, which is great, because you don't want to do that. I mean, the training we had the other day that, with the state police and stuff, we had some hazmat techs doing training and everything like that with them. They work closely with DEP, with state police, so, they're there if we need them, but, fortunately that doesn't happen, and they have different tiers of responses for that. So if it's a major incident, like a derailment or something, that could go to a, tier 3, tier 4, but a basic one, you're gonna get a couple of hazmat techs as a tier 1, and we've used them a few times for small incidents in town or a spill on the Mass Pike or something like that. So, you never quite know what's in some of those tanker trucks and stuff, so sometimes you have to err on the side of caution.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just whenever I see hazmat.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand.
It pops
That
out.
wasn't anything serious, I guarantee you
All
that.
right. Do you have any questions for the chief?
I don't, no.
No? Do you have any questions for the chief?
No, sir.
Mr. Farrar?
Just one thing, Chief, when you mentioned line item transfers, one of the things that I'm sure you might have heard at the Finance Committee meeting, what they're looking to do to try to move to the approach of, if you have a line item transfer come May, if we can get it in like April, kind of drafted up for the special.
Sure.
So we'll address line item
Yep.
transfers at the special instead
Yeah,
of having those
We're trying
meetings.
to take care of most, those as much as possible, yes, I
Yeah.
agree. I mean, we did a couple last year, so I'm trying to avoid as many of those as possible
Yeah,
unless
yeah.
it's a true emergency of
Yeah.
any kind, but yes, ideally, they should go to a special town meeting,
Right,
yes.
we'll clean them up at the
Yep.
special.
And like I said, I don't see
We had like
anything.
30 of them,
Yeah.
not from your department,
Yeah.
but, I mean, we had 30
Well,
of them.
they happen, and you know,
Yeah.
especially now when the prices are just kind of volatile, you know, those things I think are gonna happen. These are tough fiscal years, the last two
Yeah.
of them, and I think this one's been even tougher. So, you know, I anticipate that could happen right now. I don't, like I said, I don't see any. I watch that very closely every month,
Yeah.
and I always compare it to the books that, you know, both Dawn and Tammy have, and make sure we're all on the same page there and everything's lining up. So I don't see anything, you know, crazy pressing right now, but certainly we'll keep the board, you know, aware
Thanks,
of
Chief.
what's going on.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Do you have anything else for us, Chief?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your report. Obviously, you guys are busy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
been a busy week.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna go back to item 1, because George's Pizza is here now. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks.
You know, I know we tabled it last week because we had a little concern with some barrels that were out there for your, containing the oil. You removed those. We appreciate it. Thank you very much for being very responsive on that and getting that
I'm
done.
listening anyway.
Yeah, thank you. You know, do you have any questions about?
No, I don't.
Do you have any questions, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have anything else for us?
No, thank you.
All right. You know, we can take a vote on this now.
Yep, I'll make a motion to approve the common vic license for George's Pizza, 991 Main Street, Warren.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank
You are approved, sir. Thank you
sir.
very much
You're
for helping out. And thank you very much for the pizza. That's very kind of you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
We appreciate it, you know. You guys do great pizza, so.
I do best I can for you.
And we'll sign this now.
And I wish you like the pizza guy, you know.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Do we need a copy
Yeah.
of that?
Huh?
Do we need a copy of that before we give it to
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make copies.
We can do a copy of this and we'll pull the roll. Oh. Thank you very much.
So he gets the original?
Yeah, he gets the original, right? Yeah. So she's gonna give it to you right now, she's just gonna make a copy for our records.
All right, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much. You go?
You're good.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
enjoy your dinner, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Guys. Thank you.
Okay, next thing on the agenda are the warrants.
I'll make a motion to pay the following warrants. Number 75 payroll, $47,357.90. Number 76 vendor, $958,401.06.
Second,
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. All right, so minutes, we have no minutes. Town administrator report, you're up, Mr. Farrar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A little bit of, just some stuff to report on from our last meeting last week. The multi-factor authenticators are going to go live on Monday, so any departments that have any final questions or any concerns, that if you have a town email address, please let me know, or contact Northeast IT with your concerns or questions. They were out here again to wrap that up, and it will be going live on Monday. I'm in the process of working also with our Northeast IT provider for our cyber insurance renewal. It is up, it's due back to Maya by March 15th. I had a conference call just on Friday with Northeast IT again to go over some of the issues that were brought to the town's attention when they came out here to do the multi-factor authenticator process. We've identified some computers that the town has that are not necessarily on the network, okay? They are just computers that may have been in other offices that people just assembled and put on. So I've asked Northeast IT to do an audit to get us to where exactly what we have for what is on our system and what is not on our system in terms of computers. It's different than just email accounts. You know, this is like computers that people just have taken from one office to another office and said, or a board has taken from one office to another office and just set up, and are not, you know, hooked up to our server. They should be hooked up to our server. There's some of those computers that don't even have Windows, 10 or 11 capability. They're still operating on Windows 7, some of them. So we're in the process of working through that out, that is a little bit of a process to do that. But since this has been brought to my attention, we're going to have to take an evaluation as to whether or not these computers are needed. I'm sure they are to some extent, and we're going to have to get these computers updated because they're so old that they won't have the capabilities of getting on to our server or to support Windows 11 for the future. Another component to the insurance requirement is EDR, which is an endpoint detection system. So we're going to have to subscribe to that come July 1 in order to get cyber coverage. So we're working with Northeast IT on the pricing for that. I haven't gotten the official pricing yet. It's depending on how many users and different things. It is going to be expensive, but this is a new requirement for cyber insurance coverages for every community in the Commonwealth that has Maya. We've had the Massachusetts trial court in here for the last 3 weeks. They finished up today with finally painting all of the Milo room. The Milo room has been completely painted, right, Chief? Maybe just some minor touch-up work, but it's all done at the cost of $0. So thank you, Mass Trial Court, for your volunteerism in getting it done for us. That will be used in future trainings once we get that up and running. And we are also in the process this week. We're moving very quickly and methodically on getting office improvements. The town meeting last May issued us a line item that allows for us to do office improvements in the building. I had a little bit of some time to get and work out to get 3 quotes to go through a vetting process, a procurement process, somewhat of a procurement process. It doesn't require bids or anything like that because it didn't meet the threshold. But we solicited 3 written quotes. We found a successful vendor. They're in the process of redoing some floors in our offices here at Town Hall. We've required them to have insurances and bonds. So they are, that's one thing that historically vendors may not have been required to have that in the past year. So this is something that we're doing to make sure that they're fully insured and the town is listed as a lost payee on the insurance, and to make sure that they're bonded. if they meet a certain threshold. So we have a vendor here, and they're doing the work currently. I also met with, as Chris Dunphy had indicated from CMRPC, I also met with Carrie Swiwa this week, and she was very helpful with us, working together on this EDA RFP. I gave her a draft. I asked her for some advice and some comments. She's in the process of looking at it, and then we'll go back and forth with her, and I'm hoping to get you guys a draft within the next week or two, final draft, so that you can look at it and we can get that out for a bid process. Along with also our feasibility study for the police. So those will probably be released within the same time period of the next coming up weeks. Feasibility study, again, we were awarded a grant from the state for a financial feasibility study for a new public safety complex. That RFP will be going out within the next 2 weeks or so, so that they will be both out there in tandem together, so that maybe it will spark some additional interest from companies to be a little bit more aggressive. They're kind of similar in nature and somewhat capacity, where you're dealing with engineers on both sides of the spectrum. So we're hopefully to get that out there in the next coming up weeks. I met with the Board of Health last night. They've interviewed another candidate for the position of assistant to the Board of Health. It's looking very promising, and we're hoping to report back to the board very shortly with a selected person to fill that position. And I have to give Brianna, she's been very helpful coming in, sometimes just clearing up some work and stuff, but she's been very helpful to the town. Board of Assessors, we as you know, we have our the pick was Betty Jo O'Brien. She's accepted the position. She's in the onboarding process. She has a tentative start date of February 27th.
Okay,
Great.
very good.
And that's the conclusion of the report for this week.
Okay, very good, thank you, sir. Do you have any questions?
No?
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
Great job. Obviously been very busy.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for all that. Again, we see the work being done in the offices. Thank you for getting that done. The employees are definitely gonna appreciate that, and it's gonna create more longevity of the building and its usefulness. Getting these things cleaned up and taken care of makes us more presentable to the public, more professional, and the employees are much happier not having just a dingy, gross-looking area that they work in, and now they're gonna have clean, fresh offices to be able to work in, and thank you very much for doing that. And it's a start, and we have a lot of work ahead of us, so there's a lot more to do. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, do you have anything else to add, sir?
No, sir.
Okay, all right, so on to new business. Anybody have any new business?
I do not.
No?
Me neither, sir.
Okay. Old business? Any old business, sir?
No.
No?
No, sir.
Old business? No? All right. Correspondence. Do we have any correspondence?
I haven't received.
She
Nope.
didn't leave any. Nope, they didn't leave any.
Did you have anything?
No, sir.
And let me make sure that number 10.
Yep.
Nope. Okay.
She didn't leave any.
Comments and concerns. Do you have any comments and concerns?
I do not.
Do you have any comments and concerns?
No, sir.
Okay. I have some comments and concerns. As we do, we peek in on Facebook here and there and see what's going on in the Facebook world. And there were some concerning comments that were in there. And one of them was from a gentleman in town that said that we were stopping the police department from doing their job in any capacity. And we were preventing them from working in their full capacity in any way, or I didn't really understand the comment because it wasn't specific on how we were doing it or exactly who. It just said the administration was preventing the police department from doing their jobs. I don't know where that's coming from. This board has never, ever said the police department has to stop from doing their jobs or prohibited them from doing their jobs. If that gentleman wants to come in front of us, in front of a meeting, and discuss what he's trying to tell or what he's presenting on Facebook, we would love to discuss it in a meeting with him. You are more than welcome to come to a meeting. If you're putting stuff on Facebook and alleging something, please come to the meeting and support that, so we can talk to you about it, because you're probably just misinformed, you don't have the right information, and we would like to clarify with that. But from the horse's mouth, Chief, have we ever prevented you guys from doing your job?
It'd be a force. Not at all.
Okay. I feel this board has been nothing but supportive and helped the police department and the fire department and facilitate them in any way we can to help them do their jobs. We were aggressive getting new cruisers, new equipment, new stuff for the police department. We're actively looking for a public safety complex to fix a situation that they've been left in for years, that previous boards refused to do or just didn't want to take on that challenge. This board has been very aggressive in doing that. We've had subcommittees looking for police departments, for a place for our police officers to go for a temporary location to help support them. We've exhausted all those resources. We're looking at different resources to give them those opportunities and put them in a place till we can have a public safety complex. We are researching a feasibility study to do a public safety complex for the community, because our police department and our fire department deserve these things, and they deserve to be able to have these things to best serve our public. So I take great offense to somebody even alleging that we're doing anything to prevent them from doing their jobs. That is completely inaccurate, not true. I welcome you to come to our meeting and explain to us what you're trying to say. And if you have evidence of that, I would love to see that. But I have never prevented the police department from doing their jobs. Have you?
No?
Have you?
No, sir.
Sir?
No.
So, again, if you have evidence proving otherwise, please bring it forward, but we've been nothing but supportive of our police department and fire department. And as long as I'm on this board, and I know these guys too, as long as we're here, we're gonna absolutely support the police department and the fire department any way we can to best support our public. So, please stop putting out rumors. Again, you're welcome to come to a meeting to explain what you put out there. Also, Facebook is not an official channel for putting out complaints about the town. If you have a complaint about a project or something going on within the community, bring it forward, send us an email, send the town administrator, Jim Ferrara, an email. We will address it. We need you to come through the official means. We peek in on Facebook and we see these comments and we address them. There was some speeding on South Street. A speed sign was placed up there. And also, the police department has been aggressively enforcing the traffic laws along South Street. And they'll continue to do that. Again, we see your comments, but please bring it through the proper channels. If you have a complaint about speeding on our roads or a condition on our roads, call the chief. Chief Jerry Millette, he will address it. Absolutely. Call the town administrator if you feel like you can't talk to the chief or big scary guy over there or whatever. You know, talk to the town administrator. We will address your problems and concerns in this town. This is not just our town, it's everybody's town that lives here anyways. And we want to address that stuff, but do it the official means. Chief's email is up on the website. Send him an email if you have a concern, something going on your street as far as traffic or whatever. Again, we're here to address those and hopefully correct these concerns. But we got to be realistic too. A lot of times we only have 2 police officers on in our town, sometimes 1. And that 1 police officer or 2 police officers cannot be everywhere. Okay? If they're enforcing traffic on South Street, they're not enforcing it on Main Street because we just don't have enough police officers. I absolutely welcome if the town wants more police officers, and if somebody feels we need more police officers, please petition us for more police officers. We will put more police officers on the street, but it will cost money to do that. So that's an added expense to bring on additional police officers to the town. But they are doing their job. We had, 1,700 calls? The last report, that is not a police department that's just sitting in a parking lot not doing anything. They are doing stuff. They are very much doing a lot. Between domestic calls, felonies, traffic, everything. They're doing their jobs. I am very proud of our police department and our fire department for what they do. They do quite a bit compared to a lot of other towns our size, and a lot that are actually bigger than us. They're doing a lot more than a lot of these other towns. So that is not.
Call and it could be 2-3 hours they're writing a report.
Right.
So that's an officer that's not on the road doing traffic and.
Right. And that report takes priority because if it's a domestic, you can't cut away from a domestic call because you're dealing with an active assault or potential assault in progress or an incident that needs the attention, and you can't break away from that to do a traffic detail. There's a prioritizing the work that has to happen. And with a limited resource such as the police department, again, 1 to 2 police officers on the street at a time, that's limited. We're not like a city where we have 50, 60 police officers in the town, and we have a dedicated traffic unit and a dedicated, assault division. We have Chief Jerry Millette and his guys. And we got 8 full-time guys?
Yeah.
We got 8 full-time police officers for an entire town. 3 shifts, right?
3 shifts.
3 shifts a day,
24 hours a day.
7 days a week, 365 days a year. 8 guys. Okay? So that is a lot to do and address. So again, if you have suggestions on how we could do this better, please come in front of the board and address them to the board. We will absolutely listen to you. Okay? So, again, Facebook's great for some things, but others, sometimes people use it for other purposes. Okay? So that's my comments and concerns. Did you have anything else?
No?
Do you have anything, sir?
No, sir.
You have anything?
No, sir.
Anything from the public? Yes,
I do
Chief.
have one.
Yes, Chief.
You were talking about the medical grants and stuff. I actually just applied for the Medi grant, it's only $1,300 though, Adam, so.
Oh, you got a grant?
$1,300 grant for, yeah, it helps me with the disposal. If anyone in town has meds, they can come to the PD, we put them in a disposal bin, and then we dispose of them to the DEA.
Very good. Are you doing that right now? Can they do that?
Yeah, we do that all the time, so if you come
Okay.
stop in the lobby, pick up the phone, call dispatch, tell them you're there to drop off medications. We don't take needles or liquids, it's all pills of that nature and stuff. It goes into the bin, and a couple times a year, we meet up, it's at the state police barracks, and then the DE takes it off for destruction.
Very good. And you can absolutely, they can email you too.
Right.
Yeah, so if you have any questions about the program for recovering any unused drugs or narcotics that you might have in your home, whether it's illicit or over-the-counter, right?
Yeah, we just put it in, we take it from you, we put it right in this bin, it's locked.
And there's no questions asked, correct?
Right.
Okay, so feel free, if you have something that you probably shouldn't have in your home and you want to get rid of it, you can give it to the police department as far as drug related, and they will dispose of it properly. Again, like Chief said, no needles and nothing liquid that we can do right now. If you want to, you could email them or give the police, Rutland Regional Dispatch a call, and they'll set it up, or you pick up the phone in the police department, and they'll send one of you guys over to retrieve it, okay? Thank you very much, Chief, and congratulations on the grant. Yeah. Every bit helps. Yeah, Adam has been getting a lot of grants lately, and we were wondering when you were gonna pull one out here.
It's your smile.
Mr. Chairman, we will take needles at the fire department, just for clarification. So if anyone does have diabetic needles or other things like that, we will take them at the fire department. We do get them from time to time, but I can't stress enough, it has to be an approved Sharps container in order for us to take it. We cannot take a milk jug that's been jammed full of them. We can't take a plastic bag that has them in there. It has to be an official biohazard Sharps container in order for us to take and dispose of it.
Now, if they just brought it in a baggie or something, could you just take that and throw it in a Sharps container?
I mean, again, we're exposing ourselves to it, so it's
Okay.
just, it really needs to be a approved container that's purchased at CVS, or a lot of times they'll give them away from doctor's office or something, but, it just, we run the risk of, it's one thing if somebody finds needles on the side of the road or something, of course, we'll go out and take care of that safely, but I don't wanna run into a needle stick issue for my own people. So,
Right.
in order for us to do that, they have to have an approved container. We will take care of the disposal, but we just ask that one caveat.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Chief.
You're welcome.
And they're to contact the fire department directly?
Yeah,
So if they
they-
find one on the side of the street?
Yeah, it happens from time to time. If somebody does have that, they'll call the police department or call us, and we'll go out and make sure it's disposed of, safely. I do believe the Board of Health also takes Sharps, I wanna say, but I think they do as well. I believe they have a collection, but we get a lot of people that come down every once in a while, and they'll turn them in.
Yeah, if they find one on the streets, don't touch it.
Yeah, we
Call
don't
us
want
and
we don't want the public touching that
Yeah.
stuff. We'd rather just come and deal with it, and we'll take care of it.
Yeah, definitely don't touch any needles you find on the street, because you just don't know what, the last person to handle it. If they had something, or there might be something still left in the needle. You don't want to expose yourself to that. The best thing you can do is notify the police or the fire department, and they will recover it safely and dispose of it. So please, definitely, if anybody in the town sees anything like that, report it so we can, properly deal with it. It also, if you're seeing a lot of them in an area, that might be an area of concern, because if you're seeing a lot of needle drops, it might be an area where we might want to look into somebody is probably not doing something they should be doing there. So, again, notify the police department or the fire department and let them handle if you find any syringes on the ground. Okay? Good?
Mhm.
Good. All right. Anything else, Chief? Anything else from anybody else?
The,
Oh, Mr. Condrat.
Joe Contract, resident. You know, the chief mentioned about the East Palestine, Ohio derailment. Town of Warren has 7 miles of railroad track. 2 streets in town, downtown Warren and Gilbert Road, pass under the track. We have 3 bridges that actually cross the river. Now, having handled chemicals for 37 years at Harvard Knitters, I can tell you, certain chemicals do not react good to water. So you get a chemical fire, you need to know what you're dealing with. Other chemicals, they don't react good if they're mixed together. It would be nice if, I believe it's CFX that runs the freight on the
CSX.
CSX. It would be nice if they would notify, say like the fire chief, on a certain day they're gonna run certain chemicals through the town, so that at least we know about it. You don't wanna know after a derailment. You wanna know in case there is. It isn't too much to ask for them to make a phone call. Even if it was only once a day.
Well, I believe there is mandatory notification requirements of certain certain amounts.
I mean, it's not something that they do, I mean, it's not, I mean, that they'd have to notify every community that they were coming through. There's no legal requirement for them to do that. I mean, you know, they move ethanol tanks and everything, you know, all day long, you know, but there's no reporting system to my knowledge, other than the fact that they're required under, obviously, federal law and stuff to keep, same as with a tractor trailer truck, they have to have, you know, the paperwork that goes along with each car, and I mean, they have to have all of those things for the chemicals and the cars, and where they are, and locations and everything, and all the manifest forms that go with it, but there's no requirement for them to call the community
Okay.
or report anything, no.
Okay. You know, again, they still gotta placard them correctly.
Yes.
And, you know, again, we've been talking a lot about this subject, and with trains and how our bridges are right now in the community. And Mr. Ferrara, you have an update on that?
Yeah, so I'm actually gonna be speaking with the governmental, the Northeast Government Relations person tomorrow, with CSX Rail.
So you've reached out to every political
Oh, yeah,
office in
yeah,
the state. You know, everything we can do. It's very difficult to get in contact with somebody from CSX, who managed the tracks there. Mr. Ferrara was finally successful in getting a contact and was able to open up that conversation with a representative from CSX, which is a great start for us. And hopefully we can address some of these bridge issues within the community, and that's what he's gonna be working on aggressively, to get that done. If that doesn't prevail, we have other means. There are agencies that oversee CSX, and it might, if we can't get anywhere with that, CSX directly, we'll go higher. But we're gonna keep on going up till we can get it done and get these things taken care of. If you can ask about
I will certainly bring it
a
up.
question and see if you can get an answer, because maybe there's something, maybe it's hard for me to understand how they can transport hundreds of thousands of gallons of a toxic material directly through our community and not make a notification or put something out there unless it falls under a concern for terrorism. You know, because again, certain things you wouldn't want to put out there because risks factors. They might be doing it for a reason. Unfortunately, we're in the dark for some of this stuff. And to be honest, if something like Ohio happened, we
couldn't handle that. Our fire department is not equipped to handle an incident like that. It's a bad situation, and we'll do our best, but, you know, unfortunately, small towns where a lot of these train tracks go through don't have the capability to deal with large hazmat incidents. The state would be brought in for that, probably National Guard. They have a hazmat units that are staged throughout the state. All resources, you know, EPA, DEP, everybody would be brought in to handle an incident like that. Unfortunately, once it happens, you know, you're faced with a cleanup situation. They're difficult to deal with, and I know the concern.
But, you know, years ago, one of the people in my department mixed the wrong two chemicals together. And we actually made chlorine gas. And I evacuated my entire department. And my boss decided he was gonna go in and turn the roof fans on. He spent the weekend in the hospital. Couldn't breathe. Because chlorine gas, you inhale it, it affects the lungs. And it produces like a mucus inside the lungs rather than in the throat. It's highly toxic. He recovered, but, you know, he should have listened to me when I said, no, just wait till it dissipates. Another chemical that doesn't react good to water is
Sodium.
tetrasodium pyrophosphate. Just dripping water on it can make it explode.
Yep. There's volatile chemicals out there. I'm very well aware of them. I actually have done the HAZWOPER course and got certified in the 40-hour course for hazardous waste operators and cleanup course. And I've done that. And I was on a government hazmat team for a little while and dealt with situations like that in labs and some uncontrolled environments that situations have happened. So I'm very well aware of the hazmat process and what has to be done, the requirements for reporting, certain levels, just like Chief, when we seen that on his report, a hazmat call, I keyed into that because that's a community thing.
Yeah.
And it could be something really small, like a fuel spill, which is understandable, or it could be a large industrial spill. I know Framingham has them frequently because they have labs. And, you know, unfortunately, people can die very quickly in those situations, mixing the wrong chemical with something else, and you get a reaction, and before you know it, you can't make it to the door, you're already on the floor and you're done.
I remember more than once, the Warren Fire Department would come through the mill to locate all our chemicals, so they knew what was wet chemical, what was dry chemical, where it was kept. And it was preferred to be kept in an open floor rather than stuck in a rack. Because in a rack, you got chemicals above it too. Well, do these two mix? No.
Well, again, that goes into a whole new level, because there's storage requirements, you have to have, cabinets
Yeah.
that are burn-proof, for certain chemicals. Other chemicals, you gotta keep in a plastic container versus a metal container. That's, again, a whole different level, and I think way beyond our meeting. And that's stuff that, you know, fire department deals with, you know, they run in situations like that. And, yeah, obviously it's a concern, but it's a concern in every community. Stuff under your kitchen sink, if you don't know what you're doing and you mix up the wrong stuff, you can do a lot of harm.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, it's everywhere. It's what we got in our communities, and it's what we gotta deal with.
It's just one of those things, because 3 of those bridges actually cross the river.
Mhm.
And You know, I don't know the last time anybody actually went down to them to take a look under.
Well, again, they say they do annual inspections on the bridges. So, and Mr. Farrar asked for those inspections to see,
The last 5 years.
so the last 5 years of those inspections. So we're addressing those concerns and we're trying to figure out, because visually, we look at them and they look pretty sketchy, okay? But that's visually. But I'm also not an engineer, okay? The columns that are underneath the bridge in the center of town, those could be for appearance only and non-structural. We don't know that. Yeah, they're rusting out and they look really bad, you know, but again, an engineer might come through and say, no, those don't even need to be there, and, you know, they were there for whatever reason, and, you know, we'll probably just take them out, you know, if you guys are concerned with them. Or they may be something significantly structural, and we may be addressing a problem, or they might, whatever. We don't know. We don't have those answers. Mr. Ferrara is trying to do his best to get those answers to address these problems. You know, well, you're an engineer.
I'm an architect.
An architect,
I'd like to say that I think the last derailment in town was probably around 1960. And it dumped a couple of cars into the river. But, you know, at one time, there used to be 2 tracks next to each other in town. Now there's only the single track, which may be an improvement because you don't have that double weight on a bridge. But they really have to take a look at some of these structural problems and say, all right, you know, don't worry about it. Of course, we're gonna worry about it until it's fixed, but.
Well, we're worried. Yeah, we're very worried about it.
I mean, let's.
You know,
If
I can't say any of us are not concerned about the bridge, because we've all looked at it, we've gone under these bridges, we know the condition of them. Hence, why we're trying to address the issues. The problem is it's very difficult to get with anybody with CSX to address these things. And Mr. Ferraro was finally successful in getting that, and we're gonna give him the opportunity to address that and get us some answers. And hopefully, maybe, we can get somebody down here to actually inspect the bridge and go through it. Or at least show us the inspections saying what they've reported on.
Say like the derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. The reason it wasn't called a hazardous train, because there was supposedly only 2 cars out of 50 that had chemicals. Well, yeah, there's 2 cars out of 50, but they are the 2 cars that went up.
Carrying thousands of gallons of a very highly
Highly
toxic substance.
I mean, the people that are going back now, they're having all types of lung problems. 3,500 dead fish. Well, this didn't flow into the river. It's toxic material that went into the air and came down into the river.
And this is a concern that every community that has a real track going through their town is probably concerned about right now. You know, sometimes we're not as concerned about these things when nothing happens. And then when something big happens, like what happened in Ohio, it causes us to really look at our infrastructure and what's coming through our community, because there's a lot more attention to it. And the bridge thing has been going on way before the train derailment in Ohio happened. We've been trying to address this bridge concern for a long time. Again, before this happened. So it's not something we're just jumping on board about. We've been trying to address this?
Well, we might have to go all the way up to Senator Warren.
It's already been brought to
Yeah,
her.
we're already there.
We already went to her. Mr. Farrar went to, all of them. Everybody in the state. It might get to the point where we have to go to the federal level. And agencies like NTSB, they oversee the rail system. And they're a reporting authority that if you can't handle it at the local level, you may have to report it at the federal level and see if they can address it.
They will at least investigate it thoroughly.
Again, we're working towards getting it done, and Mr. Farrar is going through the proper channels and trying to get CSX to address it and handle it. But again, if that doesn't work, we can bring it up higher, and we absolutely will, to get it fixed, because we need answers, and at least the bridge needs to be addressed.
See, what we
What's
don't
going on?
want CSX to say is, well, it's only a right of way. It's up to the property owner.
Well, again,
You know,
I don't think
hello?
CSX will do that, because CSX has that. And
It is
they're
their
they're very strict on what we can do, and we can't even touch that stuff, as far as going on any type of railway. And I believe, like, anytime police or fire have to respond, they have to call and notify them that they're out there to prevent
To shut
them
it-
getting injured while
yeah,
they're
shut
out
it
there.
down.
So, again, we have to work the proper channels. Mr. Farrar is doing an amazing job on doing that. He's keeping us informed of how, the status of it, and we absolutely have the support, and he has our support to get this done, get us answers. And that's where we're working with now. But we're trying.
It's gonna be an interesting year.
It's gonna be interesting. But Mr. Farrar is doing a good job with it. So, yes, sir.
One more thing.
Yep.
This Saturday, Valentine's Bash Dinner Dance at the Senior Center. It's gonna be food and live music. Quabog clubs are hosting the dinner and dance for the seniors of both Warren and West Brookfield. It starts at from 1 to 4 p.m.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, sir. Did you have anything else?
That's it.
Do you have anything?
No,
You don't wanna address the railroad?
no, Jim's working on it. I'm
Very
fine with
good.
that.
Did you have anything to address on that?
No, I will have more information once we get the call from the government relations person tomorrow.
You know,
Hey, sir, how's it
back
going?
again, sorry.
What's wrong?
The name of the company you're wrong.
All right.
It's gonna be GGKM, this is GGPM.
Okay.
It's good you saw that.
Thank you very much.
We'll-
We'll get you another one tomorrow. I'll
Okay,
bring it
that's
by,
fine.
all right?
I'm just
It's
let you know.
GGKM.
Yes,
Can we
please.
just, no,
I'm gonna be reprinted.
all right.
And we'll get it, I'll bring it by tomorrow.
That's fine, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You need to take the dinner, yeah?
We haven't made it to that.
I know, we're still making it. Soon.
You can,
Yeah.
thank you. She should be here tomorrow, right?
Yep.
If she comes in tomorrow, we can come in, I can sign, if you guys can stop in if you're available.
I'm in meetings all morning.
I'll bring it
so-
to you.
Well, I'm in Needham, so,
I ain't bringing it to you.
yeah. I'll be here in the afternoon.
Well, in the afternoon, whatever.
Yeah.
All right. Can you sign it tomorrow?
Just let me know.
All right,
when it's
I'll text you.
All right. We already approved it, so,
Yeah.
all right. All right. Okay, anybody else have any more comments and concerns? Anybody on Zoom? Do we have a comment?
Yep, I will.
Yes, good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
Yep,
Oh, okay, sorry. Hey, how you guys doing?
How you doing, Mike?
Yeah, how you doing? Good. Hey, I just wanted to follow up regarding an email I sent to you and the town administrator regarding my proposed ambulance building garage / fire station proposal that I had. I haven't received any response back from the town on that.
Okay.
I assume you guys got the email. I was just following up on that.
I mean, we're gonna have
'Cause
an
I know there's
RFP.
lots of discussions about public safety complex and all that stuff.
So, Mike, Mr. Burrill?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, so there was a formal process that the town entered into, it was an RFP process. You have to have had responded to that process. You did not respond to that process during the time period that we were soliciting former proposals.
Right, that is correct, yeah. So, and I did realize that you guys didn't vote on anything for the proposed police station. So the email I sent was to set up a meeting between me and my staff to, whether it's on Zoom or whatever, are you still looking? So what it is I'm proposing to start a BLS and ALS ambulance service with some funding. So the ambulance service has to be located in Warren. I'm basically looking around for geographic property right now to make it good to build a brand new facility. And then the proposal was to also add in a proposed fire station to the ambulance garage. And then I kind of came up with, after talking to the engineers, they kind of said, well, we could also turn it into a public safety complex. Because I would certainly be interested in helping out the town, bringing the police dispatch back to Warren, so.
Okay.
I know the town doesn't have the funding to do that, but that's something that I'd be willing to do, is to, to help out the town for the police and fire. So it just was kind of a discussion phase at the moment, so.
Mr. Burrill, the town follows state law, so in order to do any of those types of proposals that you commented on, there would have to be a formal process and a public process. Currently, there isn't one, so at this time, we can't accept any proposals from anybody.
Okay, so right now, it's just what's the current status on the town's point of view for the police station situation? Because last I knew, you had received 2 or 3 proposals and then you voted not to accept any of them. So are there any proposals that are active, or has everything still been denied?
No, we're going to be sending out a feasibility study in the next coming up weeks. And we'll have an RFP out for a feasibility study, and people can respond to that. Qualified engineers and architects, what the town will be looking for to develop a feasibility study. And we will have a public process and a vetting process of people moving forward in that direction.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, have a great night.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I do have one second item, actually it'd be for Mr. Chairman.
Sure thing. What do you have, Mr. Burrell?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you got an update regarding the town versus me in the criminal case. The case was dismissed.
We're not gonna speak about pending litigation publicly.
Oh, no, I was just saying it's dismissed. The court dismissed it. I wasn't sure if you were told that or not. So my question is, I'd like for the board to rescind the letter that the town administrator wrote to me, connected to that case.
Again, this is all litigation, and we're not going to be discussing litigation in a public setting. Thank you, Mr. Burrill.
Okay, but there is no litigation.
Okay, thank you.
That's what I'm confused on. So I'm just asking, so a letter was written on town letterhead that was submitted in the docket file, that the whole entire case has been dismissed. So what I'm asking the board is to rescind the letter that you wrote.
We would just.
So,
That
Mr.
letter-
Burrell,
the content of the
Mr.
letter was
Burrell,
based on-
we're not gonna talk about past cases that we handled, and if you have a concern, you can send an email to the town administrator with your concern, and we'll address it to you directly.
Okay.
All
Is it
right?
okay if I carbon copy you?
That's fine.
Okay, that's all. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay, any other comments and concerns? Any other no?
Nope.
Anybody on Zoom?
No.
No? All right. And are we having a meeting next week?
Yes, to my knowledge.
Okay, because I knew there was much on the agenda or something we're looking at.
Well, there'll be a couple items, yeah, some cleanup stuff.
Okay.
School vacation, so.
Oh, you.
Yeah, it's school
okay.
vacation and guys are looking for having that week off.
Alright.
Is this stuff we can table to the following meeting?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll skip next week.
There may be something for Chris, let me check, I think
The minutes?
Yeah, I think we,
Oh, the funding
yeah,
issue.
the funding issue, yeah.
So we might have to have a meeting, whether it's a quick thing.
I mean,
Very
we can make it
limited.
quick. We can make it
It
limited.
can
Very
literally
limited.
be like 10
Limited-
minutes.
Yeah, limited agenda,
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right, so let's,
Let's just do it. We'll
Plan
do
it,
We'll
but we'll keep it very limited
Limited.
because, again, school vacation and what's going on for the kids.
Mhm.
You know,
And-
I know Derek's probably going to, I don't know, wherever. You're always doing something.
Aruba or something.
Yeah, Aruba, Jamaica.
We've got some bills that we gotta just clean up real quick.
Yeah, and
Yeah, now we have
clean
2
up
weeks
those.
worth of
So we'll do a
bills.
little cleanup meeting
Very
next
clean up,
Thursday,
yeah.
and that's Thursday, the 23rd
23rd,
Yeah.
yeah.
of February,
What time are you gonna put it on for?
6.
6 o'clock. So that's when our next meeting will be held. And
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
all in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. We are adjourned.